Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we will discuss top 10 Spring Cloud interview questions and answers. Let's begin. First, what is Spring Cloud and why is it used? Spring Cloud is a collection of tools that simplifies the development of distributed microservices. When building microservices, challenges like service discovery, configuration management, load balancing, routing, and fault tolerance become unavoidable. Spring Cloud provides ready-made solutions for these challenges. Instead of manually implementing distributed system patterns, developers can rely on the Spring Cloud modules such as Config Server, Eureka, Gateway, OpenFane, and Resilience 4J. This helps teams build scalable, fault-tolerant, cloud-native applications much faster. It integrates seamlessly with Spring Boot, making microservice development consistent and easy. In interviews, emphasize that Spring Cloud accelerates microservice development by providing built-in patterns, reducing boilerplate, and improving service reliability in distributed environments. Next, what is Spring Cloud Config Server? Why do we use it? Spring Cloud Config Server provides centralized configuration management for microservices. Instead of storing configuration inside each service, we store it in a central Git repository or file system. When services start, they fetch their configuration from the config server. This allows consistent configuration across environments like development, QA, staging, and production. It also solves the problem of updating configuration without redeploying services. With the refresh scope feature and Spring Actuator, services can reload configuration dynamically. In interviews, mention that config server improves maintainability, supports versioning, prevents configuration duplication, and is essential for large microservice architectures. Next, what is Eureka and how does service discovery work? Eureka is Netflix's service discovery tool that Spring Cloud integrates with. In microservices, services need to know the addresses of other services. Hard coding URLs is unreliable because instances scale up, scale down, or restart. With Eureka, services register themselves at startup. Eureka stores their IP addresses and ports. Other services query Eureka to discover available instances. This eliminates hard-coded endpoints and supports dynamic scaling. Eureka also uses heartbeats to ensure only healthy services remain in the registry. In interviews, emphasize that Eureka enables loose coupling, load balancing, and resilience in microservice communication. Next question, what is Spring Cloud Load Balancer and how does it differ from Ribbon? Ribbon was Netflix's client-side load balancer used with Spring Cloud, but Ribbon is now in maintenance mode. Spring Cloud Load Balancer is the modern replacement. Load Balancer distributes a request across multiple service instances discovered from Eureka or another registry. Unlike Ribbon, Load Balancer is lightweight, modular, and integrates natively with Spring Boot without extra dependencies. Interviewers expect you to mention that Load Balancer supports round-robin, random, and custom strategies while being future-proof and better aligned with Spring's reactive and non-reactive stacks. Next question, what is an API gateway and why do we use Spring Cloud Gateway? An API gateway acts as a single entry point for all client requests in a microservice architecture. Instead of clients calling services directly, they call the gateway. Spring Cloud Gateway provides routing, request filtering, authentication, rate limiting, and monitoring in one place. It is built on top of Spring Webflux, making it extremely fast and suitable for high-traffic systems. Use it to hide internal service URLs, centralize security, validate tokens, and perform cross-cutting logic. Interviewers expect you to mention that Gateway is the modern replacement for Zool with a better performance and reactive support. Next, what is OpenFane and how does it simplify inter-service communication? OpenFane is a declarative REST client that allows you to call other microservices using Java interfaces. Instead of writing complex REST template or web client code, you define an interface and annotate it. Feign generates the implementation at runtime. Feign integrates with Eureka for service discovery and with load balancer for automatic load balancing. This makes inter-service communication more readable, maintainable, and testable. In interviews, highlight that Feign reduces boilerplate and makes HTTP calls feel like simple method calls. Next question: what is circuit breaker and how does Resilience 4J fit in? A circuit breaker prevents cascading failures in a microservice architecture. If service A calls service B and B becomes slow or unavailable, the circuit breaker stops sending requests to B temporarily. Resilience 4J is the recommended library in Spring Cloud for implementing patterns like circuit breaker, retry, rate limiter, bulkhead, and timeouts. It protects applications from performance degradation and provides fallback logic when a service is down. Interviewers expect you to mention that Resilience 4J is lightweight, modular, suitable for reactive and non-reactive apps, and a modern replacement for Netflix high streaks. Next, what is centralized configuration refresh and how does it work? With Spring Cloud Config, microservices fetch configuration from a central repository. But configuration changes do not automatically refresh. By enabling refresh scope and using the actuator refresh endpoint, services can reload updated values without restarting. Spring Cloud Bus enhances this by broadcasting refresh events to all services using message brokers like RabbitMQ or Kafka. In interviews, mention that this mechanism is essential for production systems where configuration updates must be applied instantly and safely. Next, what problem does Spring Cloud solve in microservice communication? Spring Cloud solves several challenges that arise when microservices need to communicate reliably and securely. It handles dynamic discovery of services, client-side load balancing, distributed configuration, centralized logging, resilience, routing, and tracing. Without Spring Cloud, developers would need to manually build these mechanisms, increasing complexity and risk. Spring Cloud provides standardized, production-ready solutions so teams can focus on business logic instead of distributed system plumbing. Interviewers want you to emphasize that Spring Cloud simplifies building scalable, resilient, cloud-native microservices. Next question: what is the difference between Spring Boot and Spring Cloud? Spring Boot is mainly about creating a single microservice quickly. It removes configuration, provides starters, sets up the embedded server, and makes it easy to build REST API, data layers, and security. Spring Boot focuses on application development. Spring Cloud, on the other hand, is used when you have many microservices running together. It provides solutions for distributed systems such as service discovery, API gateways, centralized configuration, load balancing, fault tolerance, and distributed tracing. You can think of Spring Boot as the foundation that helps you build one service, while Spring Cloud gives you the tools to manage and coordinate multiple services in production. Spring Boot solves local problems like REST endpoints, dependency injection, and database connections. Spring Cloud solves network-level problems like routing, retries, timeouts, monitoring, and configuration management. Spring Boot works alone. Spring Cloud works only when many services need to communicate reliably. Together, they form a complete microservices solution where Spring Boot builds the services and Spring Cloud helps them run smoothly in a distributed environment. That's it. These are the top 10 interview questions on Spring Cloud.